Hey, what's up, guys? So you ever been put in that moment where you're trying to convince someone to do something that they're not too fond about? Role play this with me for a second. So I'm here and I got Dax on the other side of the table. Now, between me and Dax is asparagus. Yep, asparagus. Now, I don't necessarily like asparagus myself. Well, actually, I've grown quite fond of it. So yeah, okay, I like it. Okay, I do. But Dax is not so fond of asparagus. So here's what's got to take place at this point. I've got to convince Dax that asparagus is good when Dax is convinced that asparagus is not good. So here's what I do. I take the asparagus, put it in my mouth. Man, this is so good, Daxie. You need to try it, right? So I work really hard to convince Dax to try the asparagus. And guess what? Because Daddy likes it, guess what Daxie does? Daxie tries it. I was able at that point to sell my son asparagus. How does this apply to life? I'm glad you asked, guys. Hey, this is Josh Bowen here with you, and we are going to be talking about 3 points today. 1, believe. 2, problem solve. And 3, create value. Because here's why the 3 points are going to be so important to us today. Because whether you're a salesman or whether you're not a salesman, you're still a salesman. Wow, that got tricky. So, just as the small scenario I used for Dax, from the time that he was young, I decided to sell my son that asparagus. We do this all the time. We do it in relationships. Somewhere in a relationship, you sold yourself to that significant other. Somewhere in the best friend relationship, you sold yourself to that friend. Somewhere in the job relationship, you sold yourself to that person interviewing you, right? So I want you to see that this isn't just I'm trying to work on sales and become better at sales, because this is definitely that. However, this is a become better at life technique. All right, so I'm going to use this in a gym world because, as you may or may not know, but I run a gym. So here's how we're going to use it today. There's 2 sides of a gym as far as these sales go. Okay, so one is we have the new member walking in, or the new potential person walking in, and then after they walk in, there's the PT side of things. So we're going to try to get them on something PT-wise. Okay, here's what I'm going to do. That person, when they first come in, let's act like we're going to skip past that. They came in, they became a member, but they're in their first day in the gym, and they're working out. Me as the coach, here's my job. I need to walk up to this person and, hey, talk to them. How are you? I hope you're doing well. I was just wondering, have you had a fitness assessment yet? Have you had an hour with one of my coaches? Have you had an hour with me yet? No, you haven't, because that's why I'm asking you, right? So first thing I need to do, I need to believe in my product. 1, you've got to believe, okay? 2, if you don't believe, how can you do point number 2, which is problem solve? Problem solve, you have to realize that something we do every day is we problem solve, right? Everyone has a problem. Everyone has a need. My kid's problem is the fact that he didn't like asparagus. So now I have to convince him that, hey, Daddy really believes that these are good, so I need you to believe that they're good. And I tried to solve his problem. The person standing in front of me that I'm trying to convince to do an hour assessment with myself, I need to first believe, and I need to solve their problem that they may have, whether that be weight loss or tightening, toning, or bulking up, or athletic abilities or power, or whatever that might be. I have to problem solve that. But in order to problem solve that, I've got to do number 3, and that's create value. But I only have a short time to create value, and oftentimes that's all we have sometimes, is we have a short time to be able to create that value. So my ideal thing is 1, I need to believe. 2, I need to problem solve. And 3, I need to create value. So that when they actually show up to the assessments itself, well, guess what? Now I've got to get them to believe that I have solved their problem and that I can create the value, right? So it's a vicious cycle. First, I need to believe. I need to find problems. Then I need to create value to be able to solve problems. Once I do that, I need to get the person to believe in what I'm doing, that it can solve their problem because it creates so much value. Hey guys, use it in life. Use it in your relationships. Somewhere in your relationship, if it's something wrong, guess what? There's a problem there. And you've got to believe in that relationship and convince the other person that your relationship is worthwhile. But it's only going to be worthwhile if you can create the value to be able to problem solve that relationship. But it's so much easier if you believe in it versus just try to sell it. That's what I got for you guys today. Take it home and practice it, okay? Believe, problem solve, and create value. Hey, I'll see you next time, and thanks for stopping in.